issues of child abuse are monumental. The existence of the laws, the police, the courts, many of the courts do not address the issues of child marriage, of child slavery, of child employment. And these institutions do not guarantee justice for these children. All over the world, children are denied basic human rights. This panel today brings together many experts who are working to provide rights to these children. We have a number of incredible people. One of the organizations that is working tirelessly is Just Rights for Children, and they have done a phenomenal job working in India, working in Africa, working across the globe to provide rights for children. The panel today is comprised of experts who have done nothing but work for rights for children. We have Milica, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Milica Zlatkovic, who is a legal expert and judge from Serbia. She is currently representing the Republic of Serbia in the International Hague network of judges. She's also a member of the Working Party on Cross-Border Family Mediation. In the context of the Malta process. With a background in both domestic and international law, she's held several important positions, including as a judge of the Court of Appeal and the High Court in the Hague. Her role in the National Network for the Implementation of EU Standards further underscores her aligning of national legal practices with EU standards. We also have other incredibly important people. Again, pronunciation may be an issue. Priyanka Ribhu is a seasoned human rights activist with 2 decades experience working in international development across child protection, education, labor rights, and gender. She's working in cross-cutting issues of justice and sustainability and provides a wide range of services and solutions to nonprofits, philanthropies, and private sector to develop impactful presentations. Let me just, again, apologies. I'm looking for, it's rough when you have an emergency and now you're working to get the panel organized and we also have Juan Pablo Gallegos. He is a member of the Transnational Justice Commission. He is a lawyer and a professor. Enkeleda Pano, who is an advisor of the Cabinet of the Minister of Justice in Albania. Lilia Margarita Valdés Martínez, who is a senator of the Congress of the Union of Mexico. And myself, I am the Executive Vice President of the World Jurist Association and their delegate to the United Nations. So I think what we will do is we will start with Milica.
Okay, hello from my side, good afternoon. First of all, I want to express my delighted to be here in your country with so wonderful people. I really enjoy to be there, and I want to thank for this kind invitation to be the part of this event. I really appreciate it. So I have 7 minutes, so I have to speak very fast. It's also always a great pleasure for me when I have a chance to speak about the rights of the child, especially from this practical view, considering that I have been dealing with these cases for the entire of my career as a judge, and for the last 3 years as a network judge in the International Hague Network of Judges. For me personally, this is one of the most important legal area. Considering all the specificities and sensitivities when you have a child in the proceedings, So I will try to give you one brief review about some news in this area, very important news, and to remind, of course, of some international instruments, above all, the Hague Children's Convention. Access to justice for children is not only a specific human right, it's actually more than this. This is the way how to upload all the rights that should be guaranteed to one child in the process. Children participate in the proceedings, as you know, in different roles, as victims, as witnesses, as accused offenders, as subject of international abduction or illegal detention. So they participate in all stages, administrative, civil, and criminal. For children, access to justice means ensuring accountability, addressing inequality, and restoring their rights that have been denied. It's so easy to say, but it's so hard to put all of this in real implementation and to achieve a good results. These child-friendly justice systems refer actually to the system which guarantee respect and effective implementation of children's rights in one highest level. I don't have a time now, maybe during discussion later, to speak about the most frequently mentioned and the most important international document when we are speaking about children's rights. This is definitely United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child. And when I speak about this convention, I always like to connect the Article 3, best interest of the child, with the Article 13, freedom of expression, but we do not have time now to do this. But I want to remind you on general comments with this convention. They are very important. First of all, General Comments 24, from 2019 on children's rights in the child justice system. This comment actually replies to the comment number 10 from 2007 on children's rights in juvenile justice. It reflects the development actually that have occurred since 2007 as a result, of course, of proclamation of international and regional standards and new knowledge. But now the news is very important news for all family law experts is that in January 2024, Committee of the Rights of the Child decided to draft a new general comment on children's rights to access to justice and to effective remedy. The call, very important information for all of you, is the call for all suggestions and comments is still open until the end of June this year. So I would like to invite all stakeholders and family law professionals to give a comment. It is always very useful later for the practical implementation. The purpose of this comment is to give the recommendation for creating justice systems that are inclusive, child-friendly, and effective. This comment promotes education, counseling, and specialized legal assistance. In addition, it emphasizes the procedural rights to children, such as legal status, free legal aid, and the right to be heard. I don't have a time to speak now about the right to be heard. I think that this is one of most important right when we are speaking about children's rights. And I will tell you only that this comment is grounded on several principles, but for me personally, what I like the most in this comment, the comment said the children are right holders. They are not just passive recipients of adult protection. This comment recognizes a child as a real subject of rights, regardless of the child's age or status. Recognizing a child as a rights holder is very important, but on the other side we have a lot of obligation, state obligation, to provide this position to the child. If we know that United Nations Child Convention underlines effective interstate cooperation in children's rights, and in this sense I would mention or remind you on 4 very powerful Hague Children Convention. All convention provide the practical mechanism actually to interstate cooperation and encourage the state to work together on the case and to share the responsibility for the case. What is great when you can share the responsibility with another colleagues. For me, for my scope of work in this moment, the most important is 1980 Child Abduction Convention. This convention seeks to combat parental child abduction by providing a system of cooperation between central authorities and a rapid procedure for the return of the child in the place of the habitual residence. The convention is important also because it prevents a further harm. It is also very important and promote alternative methods of solving the problem. Now I don't have a time to speak about all four convention, Hague Convention, but I will mention only the most also very important 1996 convention, because this convention dealing with so important legal issues like jurisdiction, applicable law, recognition, enforceability, and so on. And this convention, concept of this convention is actually to build the bridges between the legal system, diverse cultural or religious background. When I said diverse regional or cultural background, I will just mention the Malta process, which developed with the Hague Conference of Private International Law to promote cooperation on the states which have the legal system based or influenced on Sharia law. It is very important. And in this sense, in the context of Malta process, Council of General Affairs and Policy of the Hague Conference established a working party on cross-border family mediation. It is very important. Why? When you don't have any where there is an absence actually of applicable international or bilateral legal framework, mediation is the only solution. When you don't have the state which ratificate the convention, you don't have the bilateral agreement, you don't have a choice. Mediation is the only way to solve the problem. So I would like to encourage all colleagues to be more active in this network, because it is very useful, and to appoint judges in the international network of judges if they still don't. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Milica. If we have time, this is such an important topic, and we do have so many people here on this panel who are experts. If we have time, we would love to entertain questions on anything that any of our panel members say. Unfortunately, we only have an hour, and so we need to limit everyone to 7 minutes. So I'm going to turn it over now to Priyanka, Ribhu, and then Juan, Pablo, Gallego, and then we'll move to this side of the panel.
Thank you, Kim. Good afternoon, everyone. I am delighted and honored to be speaking with you all today. And it's a beautiful country, beautiful weather, lovely sea. And after the lunch hours, to all of you to sit here and listen to us, thank you for your patience. I speak on behalf of Association for Voluntary Action, which is a civil society organization from India. And we are a partner of the Just Rights for Children Alliance, which is an incredibly new, dynamic alliance, which is creating change at scale with an urgency that has not been seen previously for child protection. So I will give you that perspective from the organization, our partnership base. We must remember that since the pandemic, there has been a vast change in the landscape of child protection. We are seeing newer explosion of online child sexual abuse. There have been new routes of child trafficking, and in this space, the wider political space for the civil society organization to operate has been challenging. So within that context, I would share some of the incredible success that we have achieved. And at the core of our success is partnership. Partnership with children, partnership with families, partnership with communities, with institutions, and with civil society organizations. Just to give you a brief scale of our work, since April 2023, the Just Rights for Children Network has delivered results that showcase the potential of India-led innovation and resolve. We've rescued over 85,000 children from trafficking, initiated 54,000 cases against traffickers of these, so launched prosecutions in 54,000 cases, supported more than 3,400 cases of child sexual abuse with legal aid, mental health support, and rehabilitation. And last, but the most impactful, we've prevented more than 330,000 child marriages in India since April 2023, in last 2 years. Those are the lives, girls, that we've managed to save. Thank you. Thank you. The numbers can be difficult to compare in a panel discussion such as ours, but let me just put it in context for you. 1 in 4 child marriages take place in India, globally. 1 child is sexually abused every 15 minutes. So in the hour that we would be speaking, there would be 4 children in India who would have been sexually abused. 1 child goes missing every 8 minutes. In the hour that we would be here, more than 10 children would have gone missing. And our work has just begun. We're a very new alliance, and we want to eliminate child sexual abuse. We want to ensure all children who've ever been abused are protected, and their perpetrators, the criminals, the rapists, are behind bars and held accountable. Part of our work is being supported through the cases that we have managed through landmark judgments by the Supreme Court of India on petitions we've submitted. Some of those petitions, the judgments we've kept on the table there for you to take, is the mandatory appointment of support persons to victims of child sexual abuse. So every child in India who has been a victim and the case is in court will get a support person to aid their legal and mental health recovery. The criminal act of downloading, storing, or viewing child sexual abuse and exploitative material, which was earlier termed child pornography, as if child pornography is a valid or a legal term even. It is abuse. Pornography of children is abuse of children, is a criminal act. Third, the accountability of local government and other stakeholders in preventing child marriage. Why we do this? We're working with local governments so that we become extinct. We don't exist in perpetuity. And we work with local governments to reach the most marginalized communities to ensure families and children have access to government and legal services. We're driven by urgent action at scale. And we have also moved beyond the borders of India and are having a major impact in Nepal and have started to expand in Kenya and on issues such as online child sexual abuse in the United States. And we hope the Dominican Republic, the other countries, the panelists, the speakers, the participants here will take this message back to their own countries and join the Just Rights for Children Alliance and the movement. I don't have a lot of time, but I will share the 3 key successes. First is we believe in smart, locally driven solutions and partnerships. Like I mentioned, partnerships are at the heart of our strategy, our action. Each of our partners in 200 districts is inspired to attempt to protect every child in their district, no child left behind being the goal. And since 2022, we've seen thousands of villages becoming child marriage-free communities. We call them Surakshit Bal Grams in Hindi. We have supported tougher laws, worked with different ministries, secured judgments, and that is trickled down to the local leadership and the panchayats, the local governance structures are the ones responsible to do this. My colleague Rachna here has led such a case in the state of Rajasthan. The second lesson that I want to share is that our ultimate goal is not to create a civil society mini project to boast about to get funding in perpetuity. We believe and we are working to not be active in communities in 5 years' time. Thank you. And we work with the government to bring systemic change so that every child is protected by government schemes and social protection. We collaborate with various government agencies like the government think tank in India, the Niti Aayog, to ensure saturation of government social protection schemes. We work with the railway police to ensure that the traffickers are intercepted. Our job is to accelerate access to service, and once that momentum is there, we exit from the communities. The third and final part of the approach is appropriately give enough of this through legal action to defend every child. From the beginning, we've sought to ensure that every child who's a victim is able to have their cases investigated by police and filed in the courts, and they receive the mental health support at the outset, and they receive the full compensation due to them by law. Finally, what we have is based on the incredible support network so that whenever our local partners face barriers, judges unfamiliar with child protection requirements, or police officers looking to blame victims, then state and national assistance is provided to intervene and support the local partner. Our system is of getting whole legal system working for child protection. Even in the most difficult circumstances, even with the challenges of poorly regulated technologies and shrinking civil society space, with this approach, we can transform the protection our children receive. If we want to end violence against children in our lifetime, we need a strategy that is local, legal, lasting, and urgent. Just Rights for Children offers this blueprint, and we invite governments, lawyers, activists worldwide to join this next frontier of child justice. What began in India has now become a model for the world. From India to Nepal to Kenya to US to Dominican to every corner of the world, Just Rights for Children is showing how local leadership, tactical use of law, community, and government partnership can together rewrite a country's future for its children. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening, the World Law Foundation, for the opportunity to share these lessons today. And if you're interested in being part of this new locally led, legally focused approach out across the world, please let us get involved in our partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka, for those very inspiring comments. We will now hear from Juan Pablo Gallegos. He is a member of the Transitional Justice Commission, a lawyer, and a professor. Juan Pablo, the floor is yours.
Gracias. Buenas tardes. Lo voy a hacer en español. Soy argentino, soy miembro activo de World Jurist Association, de World Law Foundation, y honrado y feliz de que el segmento Justice for Children, bajo la coordinación de Kim, se incorpore ya en lo sucesivo como un segmento muy importante de World Jurist Association. Mi experiencia en distintos países trabajando en la materia, tanto en la Argentina como en España, en Honduras, en la Corte Interamericana de Derechos Humanos, me ha tocado ver este tema y la idea básica sobre la que pretendo que giren las reflexiones que traigo tiene que ver con el acceso a la jurisdicción de los niños y cómo garantizar la participación efectiva del niño en el proceso, ¿no? Lo cierto es que la condición de sujetos de derecho de los niños, que desde hace décadas ha dejado de discutirse, no ha dejado de ser aún hoy un problema y un desafío aún irresuelto, ¿no? Con enunciados como la protección integral, como enunciados como la tutela judicial efectiva, y esta cosa que nos trajo la Convención de Derechos del Niño, particularmente en el artículo 12 y también en el artículo 12, parágrafo primero, que tiene que ver con la posibilidad de que el niño sea oído en un proceso judicial o en todo proceso judicial que ataña a su interés. Y el 12.1, que nos ha permitido en la Argentina trabajar en una ley de protección integral de derechos donde volcamos en términos de lo que significa la participación real y efectiva del niño en el proceso, la figura del abogado del niño. Una figura que, insisto, como toda esta temática, no deja de ser controvertida y compleja, tanto para quienes ejercemos la abogacía como para la magistratura. Desde mi punto de vista, en la Argentina tenemos tres planos de legislación vinculada a esta temática que particularmente la Convención de Derechos del Niño, que hemos suscrito allí por el año 1990 y la hemos incorporado a la Constitución Nacional en el año 94. Luego la ley especial 26061 de protección integral, de la que soy coautor, y en los últimos años el Código Civil de la Nación Argentina, que ha incorporado segmentos que complementan esta legislación. Aún así, insisto, siguen siendo temas muy controvertidos en la aplicación. ¿Cuál es el alcance de la participación del niño? ¿Cuál es el alcance de ese derecho a ser oído? ¿En qué casos? ¿Con qué ética debe actuar un abogado en estos procesos? Pero es cierto que antiguamente el niño, digamos, no carecía de representación y sobre todo en el plano de la justicia civil, esto se resolvía, cualquier cuestión, incluso de orden gravísimo que vinculara a un niño, se resolvía con la consulta de un juez a un asesor de menores, que podía ni siquiera conocer al niño. Entonces, el punto de encontrar los equilibrios creo que tiene que ver con que la figura del abogado del niño es una figura que es necesaria, que requiere de regulaciones, que requiere de controles por parte del Poder Judicial, pero que es la que garantiza en situaciones en que el niño tiene conflicto, sea con sus propios representantes legales o incluso en caso de conflicto con la ley. Yo particularmente, y a partir de mi experiencia en otros países, soy autor del Código de Niñez y Adolescencia de la República de Honduras, creería yo que esto requiere de una ley de fondo que regule definitivamente todos estos derechos que aparecen esparcidos en distintos instrumentos y que dificultan tanto a la magistratura como a veces a los abogados y a las partes determinar el alcance real. Pero está claro que el avance inexorable a que los niños tengan este acceso a la jurisdicción, que también la Convención Americana de Derechos Humanos, de la cual también la Argentina es signataria, nos exige, indudablemente pasa por incorporar tanto esta figura como el derecho a ser oídos en forma amplia, insisto, sobre todo en casos en que el interés del niño claramente está en contradicción con alguno de los adultos. Me ha tocado un caso muy, muy reciente donde la Corte Suprema de Justicia de la Nación Argentina, por primera vez en un proceso que llevaba 15 años de tramitación, decidió oír a ese niño a través del Defensor General de la Nación, y esa escucha del niño generó un dictamen del Procurador General de la Nación y luego la votación de los magistrados de la Corte en un sentido favorable a esa voz del niño, que nunca había sido escuchado. Fíjense qué importante, y parece que cuando hablamos de lo que nos convoca en este Congreso, del Estado de Derecho, de las garantías, como que la niñez parece algo residual, algo que quizás, o algo menor, o una disciplina, y lo cierto que es una disciplina que nos abre a todo este abanico de respuestas que aún estamos gestando, y que creo que finalmente la mayoría de los estados somos bastante reacios a generar la legislación necesaria para que estos derechos tengan una regulación mucho más precisa, mucho más clara, garantizando esa participación y no dejando extremadamente al arbitrio de los magistrados, que, digamos, en el caso que acabo de citar, creo que lo han hecho con todo el conocimiento y con todas las garantías, pero no siempre este es el caso. Entonces, como los enunciados que tienen que ver con la escucha de los niños, con la participación efectiva en los procesos, con la protección integral, con la tutela judicial efectiva, con el interés superior, son enunciados como bastante abiertos, esto genera que muchas veces esta participación real de un niño no se materialice en la práctica. Yo insisto en eso, en que creo, en un momento donde también en la Argentina y en muchos países se discute criminalizar o bajar la edad, me refiero al caso de los niños infractores, ¿no? Bajar la edad de imputación. Todo esto necesariamente, y en esto recurro a mi experiencia en Honduras, requiere de un código de niñez y de adolescencia que genere definitivamente un piso de derechos para todos los niños de un país, y que ese piso de derechos sin duda garantice esta participación efectiva, tanto en los procesos en los que tenemos niños víctimas, sea víctimas de delitos o víctimas de situaciones delicadas, incluso en el ámbito familiar, o sea en el caso de niños infractores. De modo tal que creo que estamos ante una disciplina que nos genera un permanente desafío. Creo que ha sido un enorme acierto de Jurist convocar a este panel. Como argentino de Jurist, este año propicié particularmente que la Argentina tenga una delegación importante de magistrados. Lo quiero decir, quizás me juegan contra hoy, porque esos magistrados, algunos de los más importantes de la Argentina, están en esta sala y pueden incluso hasta contradecirme, pero está el doctor Ricardo Lorenzetti, el presidente histórico de la Corte Suprema de Justicia de la Nación Argentina, aquí presente. Probablemente el jurista más reconocido de nuestro país desde hace décadas, y dos jueces muy importantes como el juez Ariel Lijo y el juez Pablo Lorenzetti. Así que, nada, ellos también habrán escuchado. Agradecido, Kim, y enorme acierto que tú estés al frente de este segmento de aquí y por muchos años. Gracias.
Gracias, señor Gallego, para su trabajo. Muchísimas gracias. We are now going to hear from Arta Mandro. She is a law professor in Albania and an expert on human rights and the rights of children. Arta, the stage is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. All of us used to be a child once upon a time, maybe 10, 20, or 30 or 40 years before. I am a law professor, and I have considered myself as a very privileged person, because being a law professor, you have the possibility to introduce to the others all the human rights standards. At the same time, I considered myself to be a very responsible person, because in my everyday life, I work with judges and prosecutors of Albania in order to raise their capacity to address properly human rights issues as well as children's rights. Let me introduce to you a very important article of the Convention of the Right of the Child. All the articles of the Convention have their importance. But for us, as professionals, as judges, prosecutors, professors, teachers, judicial police, attorneys, and so on and so forth, this article has a specific value. It is related with the right of education. And this article includes developing potential. Education should help children develop their potential, including their personality, talent, mental, and physical ability. Is the justice system taking in consideration these standards? Are we as actors taking in consideration this necessity? Respect for human rights. Education should foster respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, as well as the principle of the United Nations Charter. Respect for parents, culture, and the environment. Education should encourage children to respect their parents, their own culture, and other cultures, as well as their environment. A child perpetrator, a child a victim, a child in conflict with law is always a victim. Preparation for a responsible life. This is the other aim of the Article 29. Education should prepare children for a responsible life in a free society, promoting understanding and respect for different perspectives and cultures. So, in essence, Article 29 stresses that education should not only provide knowledge and skills, but also shape children's values and preparing them to be responsible and engaged as citizens. Does our justice system have in its focus when a child is part of it consider these standards? First of all, for us to take as a luggage in our home, it is important. What are the features of the legal norms that guarantee the right of the child? It's important for us to analyze them. Firstly, are the legal norms aimed to build a comprehensive systems of regulation where children are treated as children? In Albania, before 2017, we didn't have such a system. In 2017, we have a new legislation, not only in criminal matters. Secondly, the identification of the rights of the child in the criminal process and their guarantee require architecture with precise and easily accessible norms, which is related even with what the judge colleague mentioned about the new recommendation. So, at the height of their body, weight of their body and their mind. So this is another issue to be better analyzed. Thirdly, because it is expected that if these norms have their own language according to the style of the law, then the authorities need to simplify this through communication in a language understandable to children. Do we do our job in an adequate way to be understandable with them. Fourth, guaranteeing the rights of the child as part of an entire legal and human structural and infrastructural engineering of rights, considering obligations and opportunities. By this, I mean that in the case of children and their protection, the principle of a proper functioning or not functioning of the links, of the collaboration of the same system or parts of the protection system in several directions should be clearly observed. We all speak about guaranteeing the rights of the child. It is important for all the authorities to know the child, to understand the childhood. Children may lie. Yes. Let's go back to our childhood. Have you done something wrong making a lie? Why do children lie? Because the truth maybe has brought punishment to them. They can lie the authorities. Do children have emotions? Yes, of course. All of us have emotions. I used to speak in several audiences, but today I have emotions in front of you. Are they angry? How do they behave? Are they terrified of the justice system? Do they feel loneliness, fear, stress? Do they children admit something that they haven't done? Yes. Justice system shows in several cases that children admit something that they have never done because culturally we educate children to say yes. People can change. Children too, better than us adults. The brain is capable of changing enormously. Let us bring in place a system of justice that take in consideration that standards, which are a jus commune, legal norms of our specific country that are a jus singularis, structures and infrastructures be at the age of a child. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arta. I like the idea of thinking like a child and trying to put ourselves into the child's shoes. And at my age, that's very difficult because it's been a long time since I was a child, but I think that that is the way that we have to approach this because we can't think like adults. We have to think how the child would react. Our final speaker, and certainly no least important than anyone else, is Enkeleda Pano. She is the advisor of the cabinet of the Minister of Justice of Albania, and again, another expert on human rights and the rights of children.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, dear Kim, esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to take the floor today on behalf of the Ministry of Justice of Albania, and also I want to extend my warm regards from our Minister Ulcimania. Also, I will start the discussion by sharing with you with some of the key reforms, instruments, and experience that reflects Albania's growing committed to child-centered justice. The theme of this panel panel is Justice for Children, which reminds us that the existence of institutions alone is not enough. Justice must be tangible, understandable, accessible to children. It must protect, empower, and restore. In Albania, this understanding has shaped both our national strategies and our day-to-day practice. The border justice reform launched in 2016, a cornerstone of our European integration process, has been critical institution and analyzed them with the European standards. Within this reform, child justice has emerged not as a secondary concern, but as a fundamental pillar. Let me share with you some concrete developments in this regard. First, we have the Juvenile Criminal Justice Code 2017, which the Professor Arta mentioned before, this Justice Code marked a turning point in the treatment of children in contact with the law. It introduced restorative principles, guarantees, and led to the creation of the Integrated Juvenile Justice Data System, a unique digital platform. This system collects real-time data and on each stage on a minor's case, ensuring transparency, case tracking, and policy development. Second, we have completed legal instruments with clear policy frameworks. The Juvenile Justice Strategy 2022-2026 and Strategy for the Protection of Victims of Crime, which is 2024 till 2013, provided a coordinated and multidisciplinary approach to prevention, protection, and reintegration. Under these frameworks, we have taken concrete steps, such as national campaigns on safe internet use. The legal education have been organized in schools. This will be organized with the support of Ministry of Education and UNICEF also. We have General Prosecutor Office has issued internal guidelines to better protect minors as victims, witnesses, or defense. New regulation now safeguards children from harmful media exposure, which has been quite a problem in the last years. The School of Magistrates continues to train prosecutors and judges in child-sensitive practices. Also, let me add that we have expanded state-guaranteed legal aid. This aid today, this free legal aid assist in available across all of 61 municipalities, ensuring that children, regardless of means, can access justice. Over 1,416 minors have benefit from free legal aid between 2020 till 2025, with targeted outreach to those which are most at risk, such as victims of abuse, children in institution, or those facing discrimination. Equally important are efforts in reintegration and prevention of reoffending. In 2024 alone, 74 minors received alternative sanction paired with vocational support. However, we are aware that persistent challenges remain, such as children from Roma communities, rural areas, and children with disabilities still face obstacles. And while violence against children is increasingly addressed in Albania, unreported and weak community mechanisms remain issues of concern. In response to the 2023 UN Committee on the Rights of the Child recommendations, Albania has adopted a national action plan focusing on eliminating violence, promoting inclusion, inclusive education, and improving social protections. These measures directly support our obligation under the European recommendation, chapter such as 19 and chapter 23, ensuring that children's rights are mainstreamed in every policy area. Let me also emphasize Albania's effort to align with the Council of Europe's guidelines on child-friendly justice. We have invested in specialized institutions such as Center for the Prevention of Juvenile and Youth Crimes, improved court and policy infrastructure for child-friendly, and reinforced training across all levels on justice chain. Distinguished participants, While children encounter the law, their age and dignity must be centered to every response. In Albania, we believe that justice begins with a child, that access must be practical, timely, and empowering. And laws must be real in everyday lives of those which are means to protect. As Albania prepares to host the 13th World Law Congress in 2027, we reaffirm our commitment to collaboration and knowledge exchange and shared responsibility. Let us continue working together across systems and borders to ensure that no child is invisible in the eyes of the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Enkeleda. I think it's very important that we understand how other countries are dealing with the issues of children's rights, whether it's the Hispanic countries, whether it's Serbia, whether it's Albania, whether it's the United States. Without this understanding of what the issues are globally, we can't find global solutions. So we now have a few minutes, just a few, and as you probably saw me doing 1, 2, 3, I'm very conscious of our time, and I want to be respectful of the next panel. But we do have, possibly 5 or 6 minutes for questions, if there are questions from the audience. Yes.
In protecting children in your nations and for promoting others to do so as well. My question is for Priyanka or Ribhu. I wanted to ask for your opinion on how we can build successful organizations that protect children in danger in nations where the political and social climates become obstacles to do so. Thank you.
That's a fabulous question and so pertinent to the times that we live in. The example that I can give you is from my country, India. We are in a space where the civil society is getting smaller and smaller and the space is shrinking and shrinking. The way to do any work is through partnerships. Partnerships, like I mentioned, are at the core. The government has a role to protect children. And however big a civil society is, we cannot replace the government. We can only work when we partner with communities, with families, with children, with institutions. The way we have done through the Just Rights for Children Alliance is our partners work at the micro level, in the districts, in the villages, in the communities. They are on the ground, listening to the people, delivering support to the families. That is a role the government cannot ignore. They need those boots on the ground. And that is what makes it work. That partnership is difficult to ignore, even in a space where the civil society is shrinking, the space for civil society is shrinking. I think that's the core that I am driving here, partnerships. Do I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think that Priyanka raises an excellent point. The space, certainly, and I speak as the World Jurist Association's UN delegate, the space within the United Nations to address issues for civil society is becoming infinitesimally small, very, very small. So we have to have our voices be loud and make sure that they are heard effectively. There is another question in back, and then we'll get to you.
I'm a little bit nervous today, but it's not a question, it's my opinion. So greetings to everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Leslie Maciel Ventura, and I'm studying right now at UAS. The name is Universidad Autónoma de Santo Domingo. So it's very important for me to stay here and actually say my opinion about this topic, because it's very important for me because I'm passionate about children's rights, and I would like to fight for them. Because it's very important for me to fight for human rights, because we know that we are a younger people, and we need to fight for it, because this generation will be the next generation, because we need to fight for them, because we need to fight for his health, mental, and at the same time, we need to motivate them, because children are the most important people in the world, because this will be the new generation. And then we need to educate them, and we need to show them that we can make a new world for them, and we need to save them, and we need to create an environment that we need to dare them to do new things. And at the same time, we need to consider that this is the most important generation, and we'll to choose them to introduce the new generation. As I'm very nervous because right now I'm practicing my English speaking skills.
It's very good.
Thank you so much.
I would like to thank you. Your comments are very on point and also coincide with what our Supreme Court Justice Sandra Sotomayor said in her panel. Sir, we have maybe 1 minute, so a short question, and we'll give it to the panel for a short answer.
Thank you. I want to thank you in the name of the Dominican lawyers and the Dominican childs. Keep doing what you are doing. I'm going to ask to a Argentinian lawyer in Spanish. Lo voy a hacer en español para el argentino. ¿Cómo podemos hacer que la voz de los niños se escuche mejor en los procesos judiciales? Ya que usted tocó ese tema, ¿cómo podemos lograrlo?
Bueno, básicamente está directamente relacionado con lo que he intentado plantear. No conozco en particular en República Dominicana cómo está legislado internamente. Sí, la República Dominicana es signataria de la Convención de Derechos del Niño. Hay que leer con muchísima atención, entre otros, el artículo 12, parágrafo 1, porque nos habla de la posibilidad de representación directa. Esto que en muchos países es bastante novedoso, es bastante polémico. Creo que es la forma más directa, más adecuada y más propicia, porque de otro modo suele quedar en un mero enunciado esto de la participación o el derecho a ser oído. Lo que ocurre en los sistemas donde meramente se dice, bueno, va a ser oído el niño, esa escucha de ese niño, que puede ser un niño pequeño de 5 años o puede ser de 14 o 15, 16, generalmente queda reservada esa opinión, con lo cual ni él ni incluso sus progenitores saben exactamente, entonces sigue quedando un poco reservado al juez. De otro modo, con la figura de la representación directa del niño a través de un abogado especializado en la materia y con la suficiente ética para no generar una situación negativa en un proceso, ¿no? Pero es la forma directa. Genera resistencias porque, claro, el sistema judicial tenía sus formas de resolver directamente consultando al asesor de menores, etc. Entonces, pero bueno, creo que hay que trabajar con esa figura y discutir la posible incorporación en el sistema local aquí también. Gracias.
I want to thank our distinguished panel members. Unfortunately, I would love to take your question, but we are out of time and the next panel now has to be prepared in the room. Thank you all for your patience and for your questions. They were excellent. Thank you to the distinguished panel. We will get to work on this critical project. Thank you again.